With the success of the April Fool's event for Overwatch, it's safe to say they're gonna do this event again. We saw a lot of wacky abilities, and I'd like to make some changes of my own. That's if Blizzard decides to make me game director from like a lottery drawing or something. But here's the changes that I would do for next year's April Fool's event. My first order of business, I want all the tanks to have passive healing. Like if they're gonna charge in with the same health as Tracer, I mean, might as well let them heal themselves. I don't know why, but whenever they ask for healing, they expect me as an Ana to just speed boost my way to them and heal them magically. I think at some point they just either forget their low health and just proceed without me, and then when they get their ass killed, they have the audacity to ask me, where's my heals? Just to alleviate this problem from Overwatch, I think you should just let the tank heal themselves so we can actually focus on the character that needs the most amount of healing.
I need healing.
Now to move on to the individual hero changes, we're to start with Doomfist. I want him to have an ability where he just physically throws his gauntlet. Since punching people does the same amount of damage as a regular melee anyways, why not just throw the damn gauntlet and have it do more damage that way? He also has to physically pick up the gauntlet, and when he does, it gains him an empowered punch. And he can throw that empowered punch too if he wants. This way we can at least bring the Doom back in Doomfist. For Orisa, I think she should be able to store her spinning javelin like it's a Rashing Shuriken from Naruto. And when it hits a target, I feel like it should have the bonus ability to spread the enemies apart if they're grouped up hypothetically. For Reinhardt, I want him to have a shield bash just like Brig. Since Rein ult doesn't have his one shot anymore, we must have a guaranteed way to secure a solo shatter. And this is the only way I can see this being feasible. For Zarya, I think Zarya should be able to roll around like Hammond. She needs to have more mobility than just rocket jumping around. By her rolling around like Hammond, this is a way for her to get to the battlefield pretty quickly. And for Sigma, I think they should make his shield a sled on slope surfaces. You know, just for extra mobility. Like the moment he sees a slope, he just looks on the ground, places the shield, and there you go. Well, that's probably not likely, but one thing they should probably do, switch his primary fire with their Accretion Rock ability and watch how much chaos happens. Roadhog, I think Roadhog should be able to pull himself towards people like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. I can already see all the support players just crapping their pants just from seeing this. For Ramattra, I want Ramatra's ult to be just fast consecutive punching. Just like those anime protagonists like Star Platinum's attack, Saitama's consecutive punch, Luffy's Gomu Gomu Gatling gun, and even All Might when he's like fighting Nomu like in the first season of My Hero Academia. I mean, I think you get the picture. But to make this fair, I feel like he should only stand at one spot, similar to how Pharah when she pops her ult. But the damage should be enough to where he has about 2 seconds of repetitive punching to just knock out the opponent and send him back to spawn. Hammond, I feel like Hammond should have a similar DMAC ability to D.Va. Like whenever he pops his ult, he should be able to get ejected from his ball and do some damage while he's out of the mech. He can bite some people's ankles or some shit, and once he gets enough points, he can recall another robot to his position. This also means I want to see the little hamster carrying a mini blaster too. For this to be fair and realistic, I think his health pool should be like 50 HP. Like I can already see Zen trying to curb stomp his tiny ass. Okay, for D.Va, I think D.Va should have the ability to just enter and exit her mech at any point. You guys ever played the entire match as just baby D.Va? The little gun she has is pretty OP. So why not just give the player the option to park her mech anytime and have the player remotely detonated? With this change, I'm just getting Sticky Bomb vibes from GTA 5, so I can see the amount of trolling potential this ability has. For Winston, I want Winston to have the same abilities as Ramattra, where he can transform in between Monkey Rage mode and Calm Winston mode, just because. For Jungle Queen, I feel like she should be able to throw her axe instead of her little knife, and if they manage to do this, I want this to look like the scene from Resident Evil Apocalypse. If I saw this in game, I would probably just leave the match. Now we're gonna move on to the DPS. For Mei, I feel like she's in the wrong category. I'm gonna place Mei into the healer category instead, and her special passive is allowing her to slow down her own friendly tanks and DPS to help heal them faster, and this can be combined with Ana or Baptiste so they can get their shots in as well. Nothing is more frustrating than seeing a Genji or Doomfist just hopping around too crazy. So this way, Mei can at least slow down their movement and heal them in the process, or even have the other healers chip in their healing as well. For Symmetra, I would rework her ult. I feel like her ult should also have another feature to it. When she casts her ult, I feel like it should act like a sharp blade that cuts through the entire map. Like some of those OP-ass swordsmen in One Piece, where they can just easily cut anything in the series. Well, if that doesn't work, I think the shield that she calls in should be able to reflect anything you throw at it. Just like a reverse Uno card being deployed on the battlefield. For Cassidy, I feel like Cassidy should have 3 roles that you can just cycle through just like Tracer, so he can actually just roll around avoiding gunfire like an action hero. Torbjorn, for Torbjorn, I would move him also in the healer category, and I want him to throw armor packs just like he used to back in the old school Overwatch. And I also want him to have his level 3 turret back from that era as well. But the only catch with this is that he has no weapons other than the deployable turret, and he has to build it all the way up from level 1. For Sombra, I don't know how they're gonna make this possible, but what I would do is when she hacks you, she should be able to not only hack the hero that you're playing, but she can also hack your computer. So let's say you're playing Genji and you get hacked. You can't move for that one split second. But that also means your character is just straight bricked and not able to move for a couple seconds. And the only way to counter this ability is with our sponsor, NerdVPN. I'm just kidding. That'd be a cool segue though if I had the sponsorship. But could you really imagine Sombra's hack ability just disabling your computer completely? That would be just absolute horrible. And I'm pretty sure no one's gonna play this game mode. For Soldier 76, I feel like he should be able to drop shot like he's playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So for Hanzo, this year, for the April Fool's event, they made it so that when you hit someone with a sonic arrow, the storm arrow ability basically just aimbots to that target. So next year, I want them to up the ante. When you get hit with a sonic arrow, I want the dragons to follow you instead of the storm arrows. Doing this will be quite funny, but also terrifying if you're on the receiving end of it. It's like playing Michael Myers, but with two big ass dragons chasing you. And the only way to counter this is to run all the way back to spawn. For Reaper, I feel like he should be able to fly around, just like what they did the other year for the April Fool's event. I really liked it. It was just so wacky and fun that I think they should just do it. If not, he should be able to recycle his weapons and get bonus damage for being environmentally friendly and reducing his carbon footprint. For Junkrat, I feel like when you take out his tire should be able to drop bombs as well, just like himself. That way when you take it out, it should still be able to do some kind of damage. For Farah, I feel like her ult should be just reworked to be similar to Deadeye from Cassidy's abilities, where she can lock onto a target and shoot out one rocket that locks onto the enemy like a homing missile. The catch is the rocket can be deflected and blocked by shields, but if she catches you off guard, it will lock onto you and follow you everywhere, just like Lifeweaver's healing ability. Genji, I feel like we should just replace the deflect with the ability to pull out the sword at any time, but his ult is just gonna be him getting nerfed or something. For Widowmaker, I feel like her mind should actually entrap people just like Spider-Man's gadgets. She is called Widowmaker after all. Why not make her Spider-Man or something? For Bastion, in his turn mode, he should be able to run over people. The only catch is you can no longer have the turn anymore and you move 5 times faster than usual. For Ashe, I think we should be able to play Bob instead of Ashe. We get to play as Bob, and Ashe is just gonna be the character that we call in during Bob's ult. For Echo, damn, she's kinda hard to come up with ideas. You guys let me know what ability she should have. But the only idea I could come up with is that her focusing beam is just stuck on the on position or something, and she has no access to her sticky bombs or her tri-shot, and the only offensive ability she has is that focusing beam that's just left forever on. And to compensate for this at least, she should have unlimited flight, just to be fair. And for Tracer, if you've ever seen her in their animated shorts, she's always blinking around whenever she wants. And I feel like they should make this her ult instead. So her ult will have 10 total blinks that you can use during her ult. The catch is there is a limit for how long you have these blinks to use, and they can't be refilled. So you either use them or lose them. This way she can be close to the Tracer that we see in the animated shorts. Alright, moving on to the healers. Zenyatta. For Zenyatta, this April Fool's event, they made it so that when you kick the air, you get launched up wherever you happen to kick. But I don't think that's good enough. I think he should be able to float around whatever he wants. I mean, he basically floats wherever he goes, and he's capable of transcending to another dimension, so why not give him just the ability to fly wherever he wants? This way I can imagine Zen just raining balls of death from the sky, since he's gonna be a better aerial combatant than Farah or Echo. And for Ana, I feel like she should be able to nano herself. When I'm the last one alive, there are times where I know I could dominate the whole team if I just had extra damage from nano boost. So if my team isn't carrying the match, I guess it's just my job to do it myself. So let Ana nano herself. For Lucio, he should be able to boop enemies away as he uses his ult. It's literally a sound wave traveling in a radius. So why not have enemies be pushed away like an anime protagonist getting a power up? For Brig, I feel like her shield should encapsulate her, just like from that movie Bubble Boy, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, but in this case it's a Brig. For Baptiste, I feel like Baptiste's healing grenade should be able to boo people, just like Lucio's. I don't know why, but I feel like that's an ability that he should already have in his kit, so why not? For Mercy, I feel like her beam should be able to do damage to enemies. If she's healing / damage boosting someone, all she could do is just dodge enemy fire. At least this way, she could also swim her beam like a lightsaber, and be doing 2 things at once, dishing out damage and healing. For Moira, I feel like her ult should be able to go through the map. Can you imagine how intimidating this could look if you're camping Bastion on high ground? Not only will this eliminate the campers, but it also looks like a fancy light show in the process. Now for Lifeweaver, he is still fairly new to the game, but I will try to give him some wacky abilities too. For his ult, instead of healing, I feel like it should be able to dish out damage. I can imagine Lifeweaver's ability being similar to Poison Ivy or something from the Batman series, where her plants have the ability to do some serious damage for the people of Gotham. Since Lifeweaver combines biotech light with nature, it only seems fitting that he could turn his tree of life into the tree of death, and his villain name could be the Life Taker. Alright, I think I covered every heroes. I don't think I missed any, but these are all the unnecessary changes I want for the April Fool's event. I doubt they would implement these changes considering how late my video is, but if they were to do that event again, these are my demands for the April Fool's event that will come next year. So comment down below if you guys have any other wacky ideas you'd want to implement in April Fool's. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe to help the channel grow. Well, that's it for today. I'll see you guys in the next one.